welcome back to my channel. This is my doggy Luna. Yeah. So today we are going to be reviewing, or yeah, where you want to review it with me? I'm gonna be reviewing Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Um, I sorry, I was leaning on you. I wanted to watch this movie when it first came out. Did not. Here we are. Um, so basically, when I saw the previews for this movie, I thought it was going to be Scott like wanting to kind of get back that missing time with Cassie. And in a way, there was little bits and pieces of that, but that was not what this movie was about. Like, he did not trust Kang at all from the get go. So I don't know why they made it seem like that. It was very clear once he came out that he was the bad guy. Um, and everyone knew that. There were, like I said, parts where like there was like jokes made, or like he references in his book how he missed many birthdays with Cassie, but they seem to have a good relationship nonetheless. There are moments when it seems a little bit like they're not in sync with one another or understanding of one another, but for the most part it seems pretty good. Like, that didn't seem to be an issue. So it wasn't like a movie where it was like father and daughter getting to know each other again, and kind of making up for lost time and like growing and bonding. And that it was very much kind of Cassie's like coming of age story in a lot of ways, even though she kind of was already there. I don't think there was much growth in this movie as for the characters, as much as there was kind of the blueprints to open up more possibilities for the Marvel universe and the next stages. But yeah, other than that, it was an okay movie. I mean, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. For being a third movie, I thought it was pretty good. That being said, I love Ant-Man, and the other two movies I thought were amazing, and this one I think just felt a little flat. It was fun. It was very much like action packed and everything, and I think that for what it was good. But I think that as a solo movie, if it was solo, it just would have been like eh. And in terms of like comparing it to the other two, it just kind of was like eh. The world of the quantum realm was beautiful. I mean, we've seen that before. And just to kind of see that there's these quantum people down there. I kind of wanted to know more about that. They said it like it was a separate universe. Does that mean like it's part of the multiverse? Like you can get there like through the multiverse? Like I don't know. The whole multiverse is like, it can give you a headache if you think too much about it, and I think that's what this movie and what other movie was it? I think like both Doctor Strange movies, like why this is why I like Doctor Strange movies, I think kind of give me a headache because it's just so much. It's so expansive. And yeah, it's fun and everything. But when you really try to think of the logistics of it, it's just like, okay, we're just going to accept it for what it is. And I think the end of Loki, like, even though Loki was really good, when, what was that one guy? It's Kang, but then it's also not. It's like his variant. I had it. I was gonna memorize it for this video, and I can't for the life of me. But like it's Kang's variant, or I thought it was like actually Kang, and he was banished, and that was him like years later, and then something with Loki happened before, but then like that would mean that Scott was older. So I don't know what point in the timeline we're supposed to be at. I assume it's semi like after Spider-Man, after the blip. Also, I thought we forgot about Spidey. Like, I was very happy when that old guy who was like not charging Scott like the coffee and stuff like was like, "Hey, you're Spider-Man." I'm like, "He knows." Or I don't know like if the Avengers like knew like Spider-Man like as Spider. I thought it was just like they don't know his identity. So maybe they remember Spider-Man, but they don't know who he is. So and I guess it's like they changed it and he never took off his mask and they never knew who he was. I guess. But then why does he start like why does he end the movie and he's like in his original costume in the last Spider-Man? So I don't know, but Scott acted like, hey, yeah, I know Spider-Man, and like nobody was like okay, but he's like the bug guy, and I'm like Someone explain this to me because I still have feelings about that movie. Um, but I like how he started off like kind of like Scott in his head. I think that was really cool. And then like Scott is like the guy who's like really nerdy and really dorky and like nobody really like understands why he's a superhero other than that he just has a suit. But he's actually very smart and like in this movie it just was Scott being Scott and like Hope was like cool with it. Her dad was totally cool with it. Like Cassie was calling like Hope's dad grandpa and I'm just like, oh my god, did they get married and we not know about it? Like I don't know the specifics. I would have liked the specifics, but okay. So yeah, they're like one big happy family. And I was living for it. I was living for Hope's dad, like accepting Scott basically like as a son. He's like, I read every part of your book, every sentence, every word, and I'm like, we finally have achieved it, Scott. I feel for you. I feel the pride and the accomplishment that you are feeling right now because we have waited for this. Um, that being said, even though I love like the Marvel humor and Scott's like humor and everything, I feel like sometimes they took it too far in this movie, like with Darren and just like that one scene where he's like talking to Cassie about like not being a, and it's just like he was like, I died in Avenger. Like I think that whole scene, those sequences, like were just a little bit too cringy. I mean, like the whole adventure part maybe I think would have been enough, but her having that whole conversation with him, I think it could have just been like a simple conversation. And also him being big headed, it was just kind of weird. And he like, I didn't expect him to like change. So like there was no, I think in the end of the first movie, there was no retribution for him. So, like, why would we try to give that to him? I think he should have just died or something. Like, there was, and even like when he was doing his thing in the third movie, like he was the bad guy. It was just like, where'd that come from? I don't know. All right. But let's get back to the variants. Variants, and Loki, I think, kind of like it was explained enough. And then the last episode, we had no idea what happened. And if you are one who is in tuned with the multiverse and understands it, great for you because I am trying. And so basically, uh, Kang or the guy who is in Loki, he has variants. Kang is one of them, and they like destroyed parts of the multiverse and have created other like timelines, and they are destroying those timelines in order no Kang is destroying those timelines in order to stop whatever this mess is. But also the guy in Loki was like, if you kill me, then you basically free all these other me's to mess up the timeline. And I guess that's what this variant Kang was trying to like fix. So are these like variants individual? What's the name? Is this one guy in all these multiple dimensions like bad guy, and only certain ones are like, I'm trying to fix it, but then they're also like bad guys? Is that what's happening? I don't know. And then we have the scene at the end where it's Loki and I forget the name. And his partner. But like they're at the end and somehow because he forgot who Loki was, so somehow he gets him to remember again, and they see another variant of Kang. So I don't know if like they're trying to destroy them now. Like, so I'm kind of excited to see what's gonna happen with that, and if it's gonna be like a movie or like season 2 of Loki. I really want a season 2 of Loki because it was really good. But that's left that. Also, we find out that Hope's mom basically like they made her seem at first like there's a really bad person who like killed people, and then they didn't explain like who she killed. Like I guess like she killed like the bad guys like minions, or maybe like people got hurt in the process. They didn't really like explain that too much, but she was like very upset. Like she went against I guess the bad guy, well, she went against the bad guy, and she like had people helping her and everything. Those people, like, in the time that she was gone, ended up siding with Kang. And basically the mini multiverse is like there's these like people that l- lived in, like, a certain cities or towns and everything, and their town or village got destroyed, and now they live in this little kind of area, trying to like stay away from Kang because he wants to like kill people and things, and basically take control. But also his main thing is to get this little sphere that is like this, I guess, power source, that will power his time machine or his machine, that Hope's mom helped him bring back to life, and realize that he was a very bad guy who destroyed worlds, and timelines. And then she made the core very large, and then he couldn't bring it back to a normal size, so thus he built an empire within the core, and prayed that somehow he would get pin particles eventually to be able to make it small again and go and finish what he started by destroying timelines. And Hope's mom just accepts that there was other timelines, because after the last Avengers, like, yeah. And then, but she like was telling her husband, like, we theorized it, but I'm like, hey, like, Doctor Strange got you already way before. Do these people not communicate? Do they not say, hey, we discovered this, or do they just keep it secret? I think Strange would keep it a secret, to be honest, though. And so yeah, that's what's happening there. But Hope's mom was basically like this revolution lady, and like I don't know why she was just so scared to explain that she tried to stop a bad guy, and or would be afraid to explain that there are tiny people living in the quantum realm. And I don't understand like why she would not want to admit that. I mean, I guess people died in the process, but okay. And also, are these, because they kind of explained it, they're like they're human, but they're also not human. So what are these people? I don't know if I've said that already. But yeah, Cassie, I think, like, she lived all this time without her dad. She figured things out. I don't know where her mom was throughout this movie. But she like hangs out with grandpa and grandma, and like Scott and Hope, and they are all good. And where's the stepdad? I don't know. But she's been playing around with pimp particles while her dad was gone, and then keeping it from her dad and doing it with her grandma and stepmom Hope, and sorry, grandpa, and they've been keeping that from Hope's mom. She didn't like it because they were sending a signal down to the quantum realm. She was like, oh no, this bad guy. Like, I think that's the only thing that makes sense. It was just like this bad guy is gonna like want to get out. So that's not good. So if she would have told them, then it would have been like bada bing bada boom. Oh, we don't do that. Then nothing bad happens. But yeah, other than that, it was a good movie. It was funny, too funny at most parts. That was almost cringy, like I mentioned. The blobby slimy thing, they had to drink him. Was there only one of him, and he just kind of was like, I will give it to all of you. And then how did they access it if he was like in exile with the rest of them? Not in exile, but he was like with the people that like stay away from the main people, and the main people somehow had it. So he was like, you just drank me. Also, like, there has to be like more people finding themselves in the quantum realm somehow for him to like be like the juice guy, and like them giving them to people for them to understand, like. But isn't people coming in from the outside into the quantum realm like a bad thing, because then Kang wants to get them? Like, so what is the purpose of, you were just there for convenience? But how did you, is it only one of you? He was obsessed with holes for some reason, and then he started like turning big and eating things, and it was just like, okay, cool. Could have saved us all. Like, you could have helped your little people group like revolutionize, and but bam, defeat Kang. You could have swallowed Kang whole. Like, where have you been? Could have been all Kirby and like goodbye Kang. Like, the way he ran was hilarious. Also, yeah, I just, that it also kind of just weirded me out. That thing just really weirded me out. There were several scenes in the beginning where it was just kind of like cutting back and forth, where like Cassie was like, drink the ooze, and I was like, I would have wanted to see how Cassie figured out that you should drink the ooze, but Cassie was very much like, yeah, I'll do things. Let's do it. We'll drink the ooze. She was very much, I think, a tiny Scott in that like she went to jail for like fighting for what was right. The jail part, not the fighting for what was right. But I think she had her own like rebellious side that I think very much resembled Scott. And I kind of wanted to see more of that. It was like bits and pieces of that, but it wasn't like, it was just like a sprinkle of her character. I kind of wanted to be like more of like power to Cassie. And yeah, that was basically the movie. And then at the end, Scott like overthinking, like I needed that because he was like, what if I did this? What if I was like, that was me at the end of Loki. I was like, I don't know who to believe. So thank you, Scott. And yeah, that scene was everything. I also missed the guy, his friend, who like kind of like rehashed everything. So that moment meant a lot to me. Also, like, I don't think like, I think they did that just because we didn't have the other guy. I don't think that would have been like Scott's character, him overthinking and like stuff like that. He's very much like a talk out loud kind of guy. So I think they just did that because, and also because we needed that as an audience, and that's kind of what we were thinking. But yeah, that's basically it. I'm excited to see what is going to happen next. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see y'all soon. Bye.